Surfing the Sea of Qi, Part 2, Chapter 1 continued. Even the shallow end of a swimming pool gave me pause, for goodness sake. And that's just absurd. Living in Florida, a state surrounded by water, this fear really wasn't healthy for my physical survival, not to mention my social survival. I remember evading gatherings that were water-focused as a teenager. The numerous pool parties, beach luaus, and boating trips that permeate social life in coastal Florida were all outside my comfort zone and therefore beyond my grasp. This fear had limited me my whole life, and I was sick and tired of it. I decided to confront it head on. I was going to learn how to surf. This, I reasoned, would give me physical and mental distraction from the fear that I was in continual jeopardy while traversing that terrifying watering realm. So at 40 years old, on a sunny summer morning, surfboard tethered to my ankle, I slowly walked into the shallows of the Atlantic Ocean on Cocoa Beach. My fearless friend Merci, which she pronounced Mercy, or Merci, with a slight French accent, coached me as we waded out together. Instead of trying to paddle out to where the other surfers were in the lineup, we slowly walked out to stand in stomach-deep water and catch a few broken waves. She advised riding them lying on my stomach, not trying to stand up. This was excellent advice. Go slow. Don't rush. Just like my Tai Chi training had taught me. Just this hint of familiarity gave me comfort in the ever-shifting water that had been my nemesis since childhood. Merci understood that if I didn't enjoy my first session, it would be difficult for me to continue trying to surf. She made sure the conditions were mild and not even slightly intimidating the first day we went out. Looking back, I would now call the conditions that day 1 foot, glassy, and weak. Hardly enough ripple for seasoned surfers to get in the water, but Merci understood the intensity and depth of my fear. She also understood my purpose in learning to surf and was wise enough to start me off slow. She set me up to just enjoy the sensation of the energy pushing the wave with no expectations of paddling out or standing up on the board. What a good teacher. Sometimes I see boyfriends trying to teach girlfriends without understanding this simple concept. It should be super easy and enjoyable, especially the first few times. The surf conditions matter a lot for this, which is why I sometimes refer to myself as a fair weather surfer. I only go when the conditions are right for me, not necessarily when everyone else is out charging it. I'll never forget that first day, though. Riding tiny waves like a kid on a boogie board. It left me giddy with bubbling excitement and most definitely wanting more. Once I was comfortable simply being in waist-to-stomach deep water, which took about 15 minutes to let go of my panicked breathing. Then Merci left my side, catching a small wave, and glided in on her belly towards the shore in a demonstration of how to start. The very thought of her having left me, standing there in 4 feet of water, was unsettling. I had no human safety line beside me. I calmed my breath again and pushed off the sandy ocean bottom to catch a little white water from a small, already broken wave. The wave left me behind and kept rolling to shore. I didn't catch my first wave. Timing certainly played a factor in this, I thought. At the time, I did not realize how much I had to learn to surf. We spent a couple of joy-filled hours belly-boarding in on some tiny midsummer Florida wavelets. How patient a friend to forego surfing herself so I would feel comfortable and have a buddy nearby for my first purpose, fear-filled encounter with the ocean. When I was ready for a break and went into shore, Merci paddled over to the lineup and promptly caught a few stand-up waves as if it was a cakewalk. Her beautiful, skilled, effortless style made many heads turn as she easily glided around all others in the tourist-filled shallows. Merci had been surfing since she was 7 years old. She'd traveled all over the world in pursuit of her chosen sport: Fiji, Japan, Mexico, Indonesia, and Hawaii, of course. Being in the water with her as my guide was a comfort and blessing to overcoming my irrational fear. Sitting on the hard, compacted beach sand, sipping water while watching Merci play in her domain, I wanted even more to learn to surf. Now that I'd had a small taste of riding waves and the sheer joy of it, I was seeing how a beautiful, skilled woman riding a longboard was. I was totally hooked. I knew I could one day surf like that and be just as in the flow. But it would take some time and a slow progression. Yet another parallel with my Tai Chi training. If for only this reason, I know surfing is Taoist, it can easily reconnect us to the fresh, childlike joy and the cyclical nature of it all. Years of practicing Tai Chi had taught me how to laugh at my simple mistakes, to let go of my controlling, pride-filled adult ego, to become unburdened as a child. This is one reason we're most commonly called Tai Chi players over other monikers. We don't work out, we play Tai Chi. In my classes, we typically laugh and have fun while we practice our slow Tai Chi flow. This first taste of surfing had also brought me childlike joy and a sense of freedom I certainly had not expected in that big, terrifying ocean. There was a simple, pure pleasure in letting the wave push me through space. I saw it as a free, natural energy ride, like coasting downhill on a bike or sailing. It takes us away from the effort and struggle of life in the contrived man-made world. If you've ever glided downhill on a bike or some such free energy ride, I'm sure you'll agree that there really is nothing more emancipating to our clock and boundary-controlled lives than being moved through nature, by nature. To do this is to go with the flow. To go with the flow and use the energy of that flow with style and grace takes quite a bit more effort than one day at the beach. Like all beginners, young or otherwise, this has not come easily for me. I push, I fight, I resist. I use too much force and muscle. I try too hard to exert control instead of just letting go. Yet with patience and persistence, the flow and grace will come. This is the promise of Tao. Keep consistently engaging in your practice, and the energy of that practice will eventually work its way in you until one day you are no longer practicing Tai Chi. It is flowing through you, like a wave of energy moves through water. When you watch surfers paddle out, it's easy to tell who we Groms are. We muscle our way through the breaking waves, looking less than graceful. Our legs are not pulled together, streamlining aerodynamically with the surfboard, but spread eagle like a starfish, creating more resistance. Our arms splash about with too much effort, trying to force our way through the water. We are easily out-paddled by more experienced surfers, and we wear out quickly. Because we use too much force, the resistance of incoming waves beats us down. With determined practice, we learn that when we relax, when we don't force it, when we position ourselves according to the current and the incoming flow, and then when the resistance comes, eventually it does come, we can prepare with the least possible impact, relax, and just let the storm of whitewash pass by before we resume our efforts to paddle forward. This, in Taoism and Tai Chi practice, is called yield and overcome. With diligence and practice, surfing will lead us to the Tao. There's a classic scene in the original Point Break movie where a cute blonde preteen surfer boy working at a surf shop says this very thing to an FBI detective who wants to learn to surf so he can catch a criminal. Surfing is the source. It will change your life if you let it forever. I had no idea how true these words were when I first heard them. Now I know. Because like the FBI detective, learning to surf forever altered my life. I didn't know when I started that it would happen this way. I just wanted to get over my intense fear of water. Not become a Taoist soul surfer, riding galactic waves of Qi. End of chapter 1. Thanks for listening, and maybe picking up a copy from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or my website, beachsideqigong.com. I'll sign it and ship it to your door. Stay healthy.